Hello there guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I will be giving my thoughts and opinions on the brand new 2019 CollectA reveals. And first up, we are going to start with this brand new Supreme Scale Pterosaur. This is the Keuhara, and I have to say I am very impressed by this awesome looking Pterosaur. I mean, the crest is absolutely gorgeous. I love the colours, the contrast, you know, the yellow, the orange, the red and the blue. They just create such a beautiful looking pterosaur. I especially love the blue around the eye and the throat. And then we go down into the grey and white and black for the body, and then the yellow for the hands. It just looks such a vibrant pterosaur. And you know, I haven't got any of these Supreme scale pterosaurs. I would like to get some very soon, but you know, I'd love to add this to my collection for next year. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Next up, we have this rather quite cool looking Boreal Peltor. Now this is part of their standard range of dinosaurs, and I think it was only like a matter of time before they added a Boreal Peltor to their huge list of creatures for their standard range. The colours themselves look really good, as we do know this is basically the colour of Boreal Peltor thanks to that beautifully preserved specimen. I mean, the counter-changing colour scheme looks really nice with the reds and the browns, and I have heard some people say that it just looks kind of plain, but I'm like, I quite like it. You know, I think it looks really cool. The face actually looks kind of cute. It just looks like, you know, oh, just gonna go about my day just looking for food. Yeah, it looks really cool, and I'm always a big fan of Nodosaurids and Ankylosaurids, so I look forward to adding to this new species to my collection. And next up we have, very surprising, I never thought CollectA would do this, a 1/20 scale deluxe figure of Edaphosaurus. Now, as we all know, Dimetrodon is like the go-to pelycosaur, you could say, for every company. You know, it's big, it's got a big sail on its back, it's a carnivore, you know, everyone always does Dimetrodon. But rarely do we get its contemporary Edaphosaurus. Now, Edaphosaurus is a herbivore, so I can understand why people wouldn't want to do it, because, you know, it's not scary, as they say. But the only other company that I actually know that have done an Edaphosaurus is Bullyland, but sadly that figure is very hard to come by these days. So I think it's absolutely fantastic that CollectA have chosen to do this species, and it looks really lovely. Like, the sail is gorgeous, like the green and the red look fantastic. The sort of splotched body, the patterning, I quite like that, with the brown sort of splotches and the stripes down the tail, and then the sort of mint green along the body, the yellow underbelly. I know that some of the limbs look a little warped, especially that right front foot. It seems like the feet are curled upwards a little bit, but I think maybe that was just the model that they had on them. But I really am a big fan of this figure. I cannot wait to get this in hand and, you know, put it with my Safari Limited Dimetrodon. So yeah, I think this is a beautiful figure. I cannot wait to see this figure in hand. Next up, we have probably one of my most anticipated figures from CollectA, because I've wanted a figure of this particular dinosaur for so long. We have the 1/40 scale or 1/30 scale deluxe, depending on the measurements, I don't know, the Carnotaurus. Now, we are already getting a Carnotaurus next year with the Safari Limited one, but I know that one has kind of had a mixed reception at best. But this one looks really nice. The colour scheme, very unique. It does seem to take a couple of cues with like the brown and the orange body from the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom one, but the rest of it looks completely like they just made up the colour scheme, especially around the head with like the bands around the neck and the head. The horns look pretty cool. The spikes along the back seem a little too big, but that's just a little nitpick of mine. But the rest of it looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like maybe it's about to start charging, maybe at an opponent, or maybe chasing after a meal. But yeah, this looks amazing. I cannot wait to get it. I'm not sure if it has an articulated jaw. They haven't actually said. but most likely it will do. But we'll have to see when the final, well, when you can actually get it in hand, see if it actually does have the articulated jaw. Next up, we have another anticipated figure of mine. This is the 140 scale deluxe Baryonyx. Now, CollectA have done Baryonyx before in their range. They did one within their original Procon range back in 2007, I believe, which was alright. And then a few years later, they did a larger deluxe scale Baryonyx, which was a little better, not by much. But this one is a much needed update, and what an update it is. It looks amazing. It does have an articulated jaw. The pose looks really cool, really fierce. I like the spikes along the back, they look pretty cool. They've got an orange crest on the nose. The colour scheme does seem a little like the Carnotaurus we just talked about, but you know, it looks perfectly fine to me. I cannot wait to get this in hand. You know me, I love my British dinosaurs, you know, so I cannot wait to add this new Baryonyx to my collection. Next up, we have another figure added to their standard range of prehistoric creatures. This is the Fukui Raptor. Now, contrary to what its name suggests, Fukui Raptor is not a dromaeosaur. It actually belongs to the Megaraptoran group of theropods. Very obscure group. This one was found, this one is from Asia, well, Japan. So I think it's actually rather cool that they've added a Megaraptoran theropod to their range of figures, and also one that probably a lot of people have not heard of. One of the only other figures I know that has been done of this figure is a small one from the Dinosaur King toy line back in 2008, and the recent Favourite Co version. But those are the only two that I know of. But I think it was a good choice to go with a Fukui Raptor. I know some people have complained that the colour scheme looks a bit too drab or predictable, but I quite like the green and the brown. It seems like it might have lived in a forested environment, and it probably had the colour scheme for ambushing its prey. I think this is a rather cool looking figure, and I look forward to adding it to my collection. Now, we are now on to the last figure that CollectA are revealed. There are two more to look over, but they're not actual figures. But this is the last official figure that CollectA are revealing for 2019, or bringing out for their prehistoric range. This is the Elasmotherium, also known as the Siberian Unicorn. Now, this figure looks amazing. I mean, I know that Safari are bringing out a Coelodonta, or the woolly rhino, but we haven't had an Elasmotherium before, and it looks very imposing, especially that enormous horn. The fur detail looks really nice. It looks very shaggy, so it looks like it's definitely suited for the snow. It looks like it's got quite a cool pose with its it looks like it's charging or running across the tundra. Its tail is raised, its feet are spread apart. It looks really intimidating. And yeah, I think it's great that we're getting a figure of this huge. I mean, this was an enormous animal, over 5 meters, much bigger than the modern day rhino and the woolly rhino. So a very imposing figure. I look forward to adding this to my collection. And now we are on to one of the 2 playsets that CollectA are bringing out for next year. First up, we have another tube. I know that CollectA have already released 2 little mini tubes a couple of years back, and now we have a prehistoric mammal tube. They are basically smaller versions of a lot of their larger figures. I mean, it doesn't really interest me, to be honest, but I know there will probably be some people out there that will like a mini tube. It features 12 figures from their sort of larger deluxe range. The Moropus, Dinotherium, Woolly Mammoth, Paraceratherium, Kalenken, Wintertherium, Estimenosuchus, Daeodon, Andrewsarchus, Arsinotherium, Smilodon, and Megacerops. So I'm sure that a lot of little kids will like this. You know, they can bring a lot of their little figures with them, and I'm definitely sure some people will like it. I'm just not really that interested in picking this one up. And last but not least, we have a CollectA AR set. Now, I get what they're trying to do, but again, I'm not really that interested. I think with what the set is, I think there's like a couple of cards that you can scan, and they like come alive in an app that you can download, which is kind of cool for kids. But once again, I'm not really fussed. But it's a clever design. But once again, it's a playset with a volcano and dinosaurs. Why are dinosaurs always associated with volcanoes? I don't get it. How about like a nice forested environment, or grasslands? But anyway, I digress. But I'm sure little kids will like this. With the added AR features, I'm sure they'll get a kick out of it. But once again, I'm not really that fussed. So these are all my thoughts and opinions on a lot of the new 2019 CollectA range. I will be trying to get most of these figures, except of course for the mini tube and the AR set. I think this is quite a good year for a CollectA for 2019. A lot of the figures look really cool. Some of them look updated, like the Baryonyx. A lot of them have been highly anticipated, like the Carnotaurus. I'm so glad we're actually getting one. And yeah, so please stay tuned to the channel. I will be doing a few more. Got a few more reviews coming up. And then hopefully I will be going over the new Papo reveals when they are released. Well, whenever the pictures or images are released. So yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video.